Peace. This is Anpu with another video on question everything. I gotta do that all the time. That's the trademark. But listen, we're gonna get into some real deep information. Alright? And if you ain't ready for this information, I advise you to click off this video, because this video is not for everybody. And for those who are highly religious, not open-minded, this is not for you. This might ruin your life. Biological machines. What I mean by biological machines is these physical bodies that we occupy in. From time and time again, I've been saying this in my videos, that we are not these bodies. These bodies are basically machines. Basically, machines. Just like how you take your car to the shop and you replace something because something is broken, or we do the same thing. It's called transplants. So when the heart doesn't work no more, now we have the ability to transfer a heart from a dead person to a person that is alive, and they can continue living in this realm, in this 3D. What is this 3D? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Matrix. Welcome to the Matrix. You plugged in. Now you're stuck here, and till your mission is done, until you fulfill what you need to fulfill as far as knowledge and gaining experience. This is all this life game is you come here to gain the experience. Because again, you are not this body, this biological machine. You know, what's inside, what's powering up this machine is the real you, and which is energy. Energy at the end of the day. Just like a battery, right? You put the battery into a machine or a toy or whatever, a remote, and it makes it work. It operates. It's alive. That's all it is. That's all we are. Biological machines. You know? We are basically light beings. Light beings. Okay? And when you study the creation of atoms and the photons and electrons, it's all dealing with energy, electric, right? At the end of the day, it's like what powers up our electronics now? Electricity, energy. And that's pretty much what we are. You know, and there's different types of forms of energy, which is real. Like the sun is basically like a big generator, right? And of course it creates. We are solar beings. That's where we come from. And when you look at the planets within our universe, our solar system, they ain't nothing but different representations of the sun at the end of the day. So yes, planet Earth is another form of the sun. It's deep, right? Because how did the Earth come to be? It came through a collapsing star. Now this is all stuff that can be researched, right? There are still stars out there that supernova now, and as a star supernovas, it creates is the gases and the gravity and electrons and everything pulls together, and it creates, and you have the elements, and it creates bodies of planets and moons and asteroids and all other good stuff that's in the universe. But where did all this stuff come from? Excuse me. It all comes from the sun. Because as the sun is collapsing, that's when it starts off with hydrogen and then helium. And once one burns out, and then as it starts collapsing, it starts to create the other elements that we have to this day. Oxygen, irons, gold, aluminum, all those fancy names you have on your periodic table. So basically that's what we are. And it's just to see us in this game and how everything plays, it's like people are so asleep. They haven't woke up yet. But as we go on with this video, you're going to wake up if you're not in a conscious state that you need to be. I'm going to get you there. All right. I just need you to be patient with me, and I just need you to listen and just give me your time, because I'm gonna break this down, and it's so simple to understand. Okay. Like even when we go into I like to give references. I like to give examples of movies. I like to give books to read. Even in my own experiences. This is how I came up with this information. All right. And just research. So, when you go into the Lord's book of John, which was a book that was taken out of the Bible, it speak about that there were many gods. And this is why in the Bible they said, let us make man, in our image. So it was always more than one. The thing is, you have to understand that you're dealing with duality, right? And I'm going to get back to what this topic is basically about, the biological machine. Because in that story of the Lord's Book of John, and if you haven't read it, look it up, read it for yourself. It starts off with two, of energies. You have the masculine energy and you have the feminine energy, okay? It's very simple. And those two come together and it creates. It's just like the hydrogen and the helium that that creates the energy from the sun to produce heat and life. So when we're dealing with the masculine and the feminine energy, this is why we have to really pay attention to what's really going on in the social media today. And if you really pay attention to social media today, it's speaking a lot about, or showing a lot about being bisexual or transgenders, and people don't understand that the deep science behind this phenomenon that's going on. And the thing is that people think that this stuff just started happening, but doesn't realize that homosexuality and this has been going on for thousands of years. Because you have to understand, you're dealing with energy, masculine, feminine, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. But I want to get deep on it, okay? So you have to understand, before you came to this realm, you were somewhere, right? You were something, of a sum of something, which was energy, which comes from the all, if you want to call it the God, the creator, whatever, the all, okay? But you signed up to come here, and the reason why you signed up to come here is to gain these experiences, right? So you got to think about it. Now you have these physical bodies, and people just get in them and operate in them to gain this experience. So it's going to tie into homosexuality, because you could have a man that has a physical appearance, but inside, for him, he feels like he's a woman. Now what that is that it's the feminine energy, which that entity is jumping into basically the wrong vehicle. Or because the thing is that when you look at the signs on how the baby is being formed, or how the biological machine is being formed, you have certain chemicals that determine if it's going to be a boy or a girl. That's just the outside, that's just the shell. But the doctors can't tell you what type of energy that's going to take host in this avatar, right? So this is why we have this big misunderstanding of transgenders and bisexual, homosexuals, sexualities, lesbians, same difference, right? But I have nothing against, homosexualities. I mean, if that's what your thing, that's your thing. Me, preferably, I like women, I'm a very masculine energy, but I look at it from a scientific point of view, and I observed it for many years. Now, this epidemic's been going on for thousands of years. It's just that it's been hushed, right? With through secret society, it feels that you feel like it's not the norm, because you gotta think about it. When you come into this realm, your memory is wiped out. Okay, wiped out. This is part of the game. This is part of this game that we in this matrix, because you don't remember where you came from and what you truly are. So if you're a feminine energy and you came into a masculine entity, into a shell, it's the same thing. You have a male body, a female's body, but have masculine energy that's taken in the host of this avatar, and then a person is a lesbian. And I've always spoke to people that are lesbians and are gay, whatever you want to call it. I always ask them, just curious, like, how did you feel? Like, when did you felt like you started liking men, or when did you started liking women, vice versa? And they always say, I've always felt this way. And it's kind of hard for them because they can't express it because of the system that we have in society. It's not okay to be this way. It's not okay to be that way. That's not normal. So, we create a program that within society that is not normal, right? So it's hard for a person to come out, so people just keep it in themselves. And I remember I met this one, I worked with this one transgender. And to be honest with you, I was doing a job and I didn't know that person was, that used to be a man pretty much. And when he told me, he said, hey, before you speak to anybody else, I want to tell you, I want to tell you first before you hear it from anybody else, but I'm a transgender. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's what you do? That's what you do. And I said, how do you feel about that? And he told me that it was like a fresh breath of air, right? So this person can now be itself, which is the entity that's within the avatar, the body. So that is a feminine energy trapped in the male's body, okay? And it gets confusing because at the end of the day, it's all about energy. We are energy light beings, masculine, feminine, okay? I've seen children, acting a certain way, a little boy that will act just like a girl, and no one's taught this kid this. I've worked with kids with special needs, and they're gay and lesbians, and no one's teaching them this. This is how they are born. It's just that some people just don't want to come out and say it. They're not afraid to be themselves. And I'm pretty sure for those out there that have been in that situation, that a guy that likes other men, and when you finally came out, it's like you can actually be yourself. And these individuals are much happier than the ones that are hiding in the closet, and it's just eating them away because they can't be themselves in this realm. But the question is, like I said, you chose your destiny before you came here, right? Is it a mistake that you jumped in the wrong body? That's how we gotta think. Or you chose that challenge, right? A feminine energy. What if it like, and then we gotta go into like reincarnation, right? The reincarnation system that this matrix is set up with, right? In order to move up in a level, you're born, you get old, and you die, and you grab another body, and and you different bodies, you come back. It's no telling how many times you've been here, but this is what you signed up for. This is what you signed up for. And I think once we start to understand that, then we can have more respect for this realm, right? Because really, at the end of the day, none of this really exists. It really doesn't. It doesn't exist. So the question is did they choose these bodies, right? Because it's energy. It's energy at the end of the day, you know? And there's nothing to knock or how you feel and all that. It's like, but now it's starting to come out open. People are more open about it now. They have more rights. And it just puts, it just separates us as well, you know? It's just like, if that's what you like to do, then that's what you like to do. I don't see why it has to bother the next person, right? It's just like, I don't, you know, some people are vegan and some people are not vegan. It's like all these programs used to separate people. And I think once we start breaking these programs, then we can all come as one. Because at the end of the day, we all come from the same source, which is the all. So in reincarnation, you know, has been proven through a lot of scenarios, even like through hypnosis. When people get tapped into hypnosis, they tap into their past bodies. And I've read a lot of books on this subject, and it just amazes me, right? On how someone can tap into their past lives, and then they go and research these, you know, people that actually really existed in history, and they really do, right? To the point that, you know, hey, I was this German man in Germany and I had 6 kids, my name was this, I lived here. And then when you actually start digging and researching to find out if that person really existed in this particular place and had these many siblings, it's mind-blowing. It's like, how do you do that? Yeah, so it's a program. It's all part of the program, and we are energy beings, you know, taking part of this project, of this program. I mean, the universe, I mean, the movie Matrix really nailed it. And the woman that wrote it, Sophia Stewart, she's way ahead of her time. So she actually saw what reality really is. And other scientists, I'm gonna play a video of these scientists speaking on their discoveries and discussing about the universe. And they say that the universe is coded with zeros and ones, like a machine, a computer. It's like a computer, right? And
you're saying as you dig deeper, you find computer code writ in the fabric of the cosmos.
Into the equations that we want to use to describe the cosmos, yes.
Computer code.
Computer code, strings of bits of ones and zeros.
It's not just sort of resembles computer code, you're saying it is computer code.
It's not even just is computer code, it's a special kind of computer code that was invented by a scientist named Claude Shannon in the 1940s. That's what we find very, very deeply inside the equations that occur in string theory and in general in systems that we can say are supersymmetric.
Right. And like I said, I also speak upon this subject due to my own experiences, which astral traveling coming in, because that's what astral traveling is. The real me was leaving this biological machine, and I was seeing other realms. I was able to tap into my true self, and I was able to see that and really experience that hands-on. So this is what, you know, got me digging deep into this subject. And, you know, and I want to try to touch all bases because people are so ignorant to life. They're so ignorant, and it creates so much hate and separation. So my thing is to enlighten y'all on this information so then we can have a better understanding of what this program is about. You know, so we can stop the wars, you know, stop the hate and spread more love, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know, experiencing, you know, these experiences in this third realm. And even though you go through all these tasks and obstacle courses, it's to find love, to experience love, to accept love, to give love. That's all it's about. And it makes you a stronger and higher entity than you move up to other levels, because we're energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be distorted somewhere else, right? So if your loved ones pass away, you know, they don't typically die. There's no such thing as death, right? They go into the higher realms. You took that energy, you took that experience, you took it with you, and you left with it. And then you're in the spiritual realm, and people choose to come back and reincarnate into another body. Okay, reincarnate into another body and say, hey, you know what? I want to come back as a Caucasian. I want to come back as an Asian. I want to come back as someone rich. I want to come back someone poor. Okay, even with the children I work with, they have disabilities. And I always question that. Most holy books don't speak on, children with disabilities. If you go into a religious standpoint, they probably say, oh, they cursed. These are cursed souls. But what if these energy beings wanted to take these type of bodies for that particular experience for them? And for me, I think that people with disabilities are more advanced souls because they are willing to take on a tougher challenge, right? Imagine if you had that option to do that. I'm gonna come into this body and I'm gonna be, crippled. I'm gonna be autistic. I can't speak. I can't communicate like how normal kids do or normal people do. That's a big challenge, right? But what if these are advanced souls that are taking on these challenges to make themselves go into higher levels and they have a better understanding on life? Okay. It's just deep when you really pay attention to the topic that I'm talking about, and when you look at it from that perspective, then you could be like, you know what? He's making sense. He's making sense. And the thing is that you come through that portal, the woman's womb, your memory is wiped out. This is probably why the babies come out screaming and hollering and don't know what's going on, what happened. But the thing is that when your time is up, right, and you go back to where you came from, because this is not your home, this is not where you're from. When you go back to where you came from, your memory is restored. Okay, your memory gets restored, and then you go like, oh, okay, everything is coming back to me now, right? It's like waking up from a coma. It take a while for all the memories to come back, and then you be like, man, I could have did this different in life. I could have did this different in life. But that's the purpose of your memory being wiped out, right? But there was one entity, studying the Emerald Tablets, the Atlantean Thoth. And when you read the Emerald Tablets, that's what the Emerald Tablets basically speaks about. It speaks about the physical body being the dark veil, and you're being the light from the sun. You are energy beings. It speaks about astral traveling. But Thoth, he's so powerful because he mastered it, right? Now Thoth is an Atlantean high priest, which also you can find him in ancient Egyptian teachings or ancient Kemet. And when you read the Emerald Tablet, if you haven't read the Emerald Tablets, you don't know what you're missing. There's some good information in there, so check it out. And even Thoth, he even said that he has moved from bodies to bodies for eons and eons. But the thing is with Thoth, when he comes back and incarnate to another body, he still has all his memory. All his memory. This is why he is depicted as the master teacher, right? So that's like saying, let's say if you've been through, 1,000 bodies, and every time you come back, every time you reincarnate, you still have your full memory of all these bodies that you have taken host of, right? Imagine how much knowledge you would have, right? There won't be you will be the most peaceful person. You will be full of love and full of knowledge, right? And it's like the same thing. Let's say, you made a lot of mistakes in life. What if you can go back and change them? You would do a lot of things different, right? But imagine if you was to take on a whole total life, a whole new body, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna do things different this time because my last life, I was messing up. So it's all about just being enlightened, moving up. So Atlantean Thoth, man, he is the master teacher, when it's dealing with the Emerald Tablets and Egyptian scholarship. And this is the things that he spoke about. So you gotta check out the Atlantean. The movie Avatar. The movie Avatar basically speaks on that and shows you how your consciousness is nothing but energy going into another body to sustain in a different world. It's all the same thing. The Matrix, plugging into the Matrix, is real deep. And even on my own experiences, when I used to, it happened to me more than one time. Coming out of, going back to my body from an actual traveling experience, and I would open my physical eyes, I would see like robotic figures, like the same way how the Matrix with the numbers and letters falling down. I would actually see that, right? And that's like when I'm coming back into my body. It's like I'm plugging back into this computer. At the end of the day, I mean, like I said, these are my own experiences. So that's what made me start to think deep into this. When you look at just the science of death, when a person dies and the soul or spirit leaves their body, did you know that the body gets lighter? The body gets lighter, and that's a proven fact. So that shows you're just an energy being in this body and just, going on to the next level. So it kind of like just to think of that type of, in that way, it just makes you want to stop thinking about genders and races and the things that always separates us in religion, and, it really don't matter. So what if a person is gay or this chick is a lesbian? It doesn't matter. So what if the person is handicapped? We be all equal at the end of the day. Well, that's how it should be. Because like I said, we are just energy beings taking on these bodies, right? So you really not this like me. I'm not this physical person. I'm just using this physical body to gain this experience. I think once we started looking at life in that perspective, we'll have more peace. We'll have more love. Then we could all move up higher within consciousness. And all the stuff that's going on would change. It will collapse. It will come to an end. And then there'll be a new beginning. It'll be a new beginning. Right? Even the show, what is another show? On HBO, The Westworld. Perfect example. If you haven't watched The Westworld on HBO, it's a series. One of my favorite actors, Anthony Hopkins. He's my number one favorite actor. I love that guy. He's an amazing actor. But the story basically explains that they created this fake world. Beings that are mechanical, right? They're robots so people can fulfill their fantasies. But the whole twist on the movie is they figured a way to take their human consciousness and put it into this robotic body so they can live forever. That's the basic story. I know I kind of like spoiled the whole thing, but for those who saw it, of those who haven't, you gotta watch it. So basically, they taking the human consciousness and put it into these robotic bodies. So it's easy to fix a machine, and then, and you just basically just to live forever. That is the whole point of this story of the Westworld. So it's the same thing what I'm talking about. It's the same thing, and we are moving into that stage. Like I said, we don't have different transplants. There's even the movie Get Out. That movie was basically showing that they could use a body part of a person and put it on them. A guy couldn't see. Oh, they they killed one person and took his eyes and gave him, so now he has his sight, he can see. So we are moving into that stage to live forever in this third dimension. But the question is, do you really want to live here forever? Do you really, and it boils down to the lust of material things. I mean, you might do. I mean, maybe the spiritual realm is born for you, and you want to come to this physical realm and have these type of experiences, for certain purposes. Who knows? That's the question. Question everything. So I know a lot of y'all are probably sitting there like, damn, why did I come here? Because everybody asks that question. What is the purpose of life? They always like questioning themselves. Why am I here? Why am I here? But that's the whole point of this, is to find out your purpose, right? To find your purpose. Like I said, these are programs. And when you look into to the negative side about it, this is when you get into exorcism, being possessed. That's real. You have entities in other dimensions, which is energy, and they jumping into your vehicle and controlling it. And a lot of people in the world are suffering from mental disorders. And I think that people are not, and that everybody's looking to it from a scientific point of view, but no one's really looking at it from a spiritual view, right? To what we really are. We are energy beings. We are in this physical body. So what if another energy jumps in your physical body? Then what? And then starts taking on and doing negative acts and just hate and just, killings or negative things. They're not gonna go to jail for it because they just stealing this vehicle. It's like if you stealing someone's car, right? Why are you in it? So it's like you stop at the light, I jump in the car with a gun, move over, and I'm taking you for a ride, and I'm smacking into other cars and doing all this craziness, running over people, and then I jump out your car and I get away, and everybody thought that you was the one that was operating this car, doing all this destruction. So, we got to start looking at that too as the relation of being possessed and mental illness. We need to pay more attention to that, right? Because when you have people saying, the voices in my head told me to do it, they're just hearing voices, or, I don't remember anything, someone committed a crime and they just totally don't have no memory of it. So that's something we gotta look into. That's like more of the negative side of things, right? Because it's energy at the end of the day, right? There's a lot of information, man. A lot of information on this. The Matrix basically nailed it, That's like one of my favorite movies of all times, The Matrix. So yes, we are in this Matrix system, But then it kind of gives you a clarity on the concept of a creator or God or whatever you call it. It kind of gives you, clarification that there is a creator. So someone, or maybe it's more than one, had created this reality, right? For what purpose? I don't know. That's the question. That is the question. And going back into, death, there's many stories of, just to show you how energy cannot be destroyed. There's many stories of people seeing their loved ones in their dreams, or even seeing a medium and they on point with it, like that the lady, the Long Island medium. There's a lot of things that she mentioned that no other person would know. Not less this show is super fake and everything is staged, then that would be kind of whack. But if that really happened, I mean, most of the time she be on point. I don't know if it's, is it real or not? You know, that's the thing. But if it's not staged and it's not, if she's really doing this, then that is more proof that there is life after this, which is you came from somewhere else to get here. So if you came from somewhere else, I mean, you was already existing. So it's no telling how old you really are, right? Me, I know for sure that I'm very old, ancient, and I think that my purpose to come back is to wake people up. Some people got out this system, and I'm pretty sure I'm one of them that got out and made it out, and say, hey, let me go back and try to wake people up to the truth. That's my mission, and to spread love wherever I go. Work with children. I love working with children, because children, they innocent, right? You could put a group of kids together, all races, around the planet, and they will all play together. But all the ignorant stuff and the hatred and the jealousy and the racism is basically taught by their parents. All this negative energy is being taught by their parents, right? And it goes back into the woman is God. Y'all women need to step in big time, because y'all are the key to all this. Y'all can stop all this madness that's on this planet, because the woman is the first teacher. Your mother is the first teacher. So if the mothers start teaching their children to love and to accept other people's differences, then we won't have all these problems. And also going into, demonic entities, taking host of other bodies, we gotta look at it on how these governments is run, right? What if these governments, people that are higher power are not what they really are? What if there are negative entities taking host on these physical bodies to cause destruction and harm on this planet, to keep you from waking up, right? That's deep. And we have many powerful people that's been, on this planet. Many good men, many good women, even children that are natural teachers and healers. And you'll find them in your holy books. You'll find them in ancient texts written on walls. So the chosen people, the chosen entities that are very advanced, they come here to help. They come here to spread a message. But then you have the flip side to it. It's just like that movie Matrix, man. Neo was the positive, and then the villain was the negative. It was his counterpart. They were both the same. One had a good agenda, one had a negative agenda. That's the duality. And it goes back into the energy. At the end of the day, it's all about energy. Energy, my peoples. For those that have been watching, I want to say thank you. I hope you learned something. I hope this kind of sparked something in your mind, in your consciousness. I hope this woke you up. So now when you see somebody, don't look at them from a physical point of view, but look at them from a spiritual point of view. Right? I'm gonna leave on that note. I'm gonna say peace and hold tap. This is Anpu with another video on Question Everything.
So, are you saying we are all there's some entity that programmed the universe, and we're just expressions of their code?
Well, I didn't say that. Some of those
like the Matrix? That's what you said.
Some of those codes are showing on the screen behind you right now. They don't look like codes, but these pictures, which we call adinkras, are graphical representations of sets of equations that are based on codes. So this is, in fact, to answer your question more directly, I have in my life come to a very strange place, because I never expected that the movie The Matrix might be an accurate representation of the place in which I...